Dr. Kennedy, you have given us so much this morning to think about. But I would like for you to take maybe a couple of minutes here and just kind of talk to our our faith leaders about their responsibility, or what you see as their responsibility as faith leaders, and policy, and the workings of policy that would help them to move forward, and just take all the time that you need, because I don't have any more questions for you.
Thank you. Well, man, that's a big one to land on. Um, God has entrusted me to hold senior leadership roles in my last two positions. So, in this current role as CEO at the Michigan Public Health Institute, and previously as the director of the Ingham County Health Department. And surely, to whom much is given, much is required. We sometimes think we have this sort of kind of the world perspective of easy street, that the higher you get up there, the easier it gets. The higher you get up there, the word tells us the more is required of you, and the more is going to be asked of you. And so I also believe that these senior assignments come with grace. And so I would really push pastors to be courageous leaders. Be strong and of good courage, because there are many pastors that feel like, I'm just tending to the sheep. I don't have time for that. I can't get into that. I just need to pray for people. Absolutely, you do. It is a both and space. You have your assignment to those you're called to serve, whose souls you are bishop over. And you also have an assignment because people, the world is looking at you. And there's this concept called tone at the top. And it's in organizations, and organizations that tend to be fraught with fraud and different things. It comes from sort of a permissiveness tone at the top. And so people are watching you. Followers of Jesus are watching you, but people that don't follow Jesus are also watching you. And that's not a burden, but that's such a privilege to be able to be light in the earth and salt in the earth. And so I would just challenge pastors to courageously use their platform. Now we know, because of sort of nonprofit status of churches and different things like that, that you can't tell people who to vote for, but you can tell people how to think and pray and discern. And if we absolutely believe, as the word says, that God chooses who to set up and who to set down, then there's something that we are supposed to be getting out of this season. When someone is in elected office that may not be our person, there's still something that we can get out of this season, that truly all things can work together for our good. And so I think this could be the church's finest hour to stand up and be a source for good, to be light, to be strength and power, because there's so many difficult conversations that people are just uncomfortable having. Talking about the history of racism in this nation is a tough nut to crack. Most people want to pretend like, well, we changed the laws and we took down the whites only signs, and so it's all behind us. It's not. It's not. The baton has been passed to us, just like it was passed to Joshua and to Caleb, right? The work didn't get done. We just have to be prepared to take it on and then push and drive that, and recognizing that we have responsibilities as spiritual leaders for the spiritual well-being, but the secular context of people's lives directly impacts their ability to live out their faith. And so I would really just implore you to think about, what is one courageous thing that you've had on your I'm not going to get into that list, that you can step into it with love. I always, God created us for relationship. And I always say that I'm driven passionately by relationship. There's nothing that we accomplish outside of relationship. And so how do we set an example to the world of how to do this work with love. That doesn't mean it's no hard conversations, right? Because we know that he chastens those that he loves. So how do we have this conversation in a tough way that corrects people, but never makes them question how valuable they are to us and to what we hope to accomplish as a community? And so I'm energized by this unexpected season in which we're living our lives. And I know that the church and God through his church will get glory out of it.